Now, I'm gonna say it straight, but is Ben Chilwell really the best use of funds at 60 to 70 million? Welcome back, you guys. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV, and I know what you're thinking. Nini, why are you looking like you're about to drop a hot 16 right now? You guys, the hood's up until the haircut comes, so you're gonna have to bear with it. Anyway, you guys, I decided to create a mini-series where I could talk about and discuss the transfer window and maybe viable alternatives, players that we can't really sign until the summer. We know to confidently get that top 4 spot, we need to go on the market and sign at least 1 or 2 players now. Left back sport is an area that needs a lot of improving in. When you compare how teams like Man City and Liverpool use their fullbacks, well, it tells us that we still have some way to go. But with the emergence of Reece James at right back, if we can sign that one top quality left back that we've missed since Ashley Cole, then you really feel like special things can happen at this club. Before I get into things, you guys, if you like today's video, smash that like button, help me get over 2,000 likes, and one more thing, download the OneFootball app. I know that you guys want to find all the latest news happening surrounding transfers and this club. Well, the OneFootball app is a great companion app to have because it gets all the latest reports across from Europe. So if you want that quick bite-sized fix of news before the news video comes out for me, then download the OneFootball app. Now, before I get into the targets, let's briefly talk about Ben Chilwell. Now, recently his performance against Southampton wasn't the greatest. He got dispossessed 36 times, no offensive quality throughout the game, and it started to come at a time where his form has started to dip. He had very bad performances against Man City and against Liverpool, and my question is Ben ready for the next level? If you look at Ben's performances against the big clubs in this country, well, you start to see a kind of worrying sign. And the reality is, all of his performances have been very uninspiring. Now, could this be down to tactics, or is it mainly down to the player himself? With a valuation between 60 to 70 million, with the Euros happening next summer, you know that Leicester City are going to get as much money as possible for the player. And if Ben isn't the answer, then what's the question? I don't know what that question is, you guys. I'm here to bring you the 7 alternatives to Ben, starting with the first one, and that's in regards to Theo Hernandez from AC Milan. With reports that Inter Milan could turn their interest to the player, Hernandez has definitely had a decent start to his Serie A career. He's still very young, and he's in a pretty similar situation to his international teammate Luca Dna, where he signed for a big club in Real Madrid a bit too soon, and now he needs to rebuild his name at a decent club. Now, what is Theo Hernandez known for? What he's known for is exhilarating, explosive pace, which has been likened to Gareth Bale, and due to his pace, due to his height, it means that when he's running on the ball with that momentum, he's a very difficult player to get off the ball. Already this season for AC Milan, he has 4 goals and 2 assists, which is quite impressive when you realise that AC Milan tactically don't really have any identity. Now, Hernandez is nowhere near the finished article. He can do a lot more work on his defensive game, but at a club like us right now, where we have that perfect environment to really cultivate young talent and get the best out of them and help them find their potential, well, if you look at Theo Hernandez and his key strong attributes, there's a player in here and something could be made out of him. We're definitely missing out on that explosive pace down the left-hand side. Post-injury Emerson, can he get back to his pre-injury heights? But not too sure just yet. Let's give the player some time. But with Hernandez rumored to be around 20 to 30 million euros, well, he could be a viable alternative to Ben Chilwell. Now, speaking of French left backs, if I'm going to talk about them, there's one in particular that has to get spoken about, and his name is Luca Dna from Everton. Now, for me, I think that Luca is one of the best left backs in the country. Like, you guys remember back in the day when Everton fans thought that Leighton Baines was world class? Even though Baines had great attributes but wasn't the complete package, well, I think Luca Dna is what Everton fans thought Leighton Baines was. He's always been a player that's had a massive reputation since he was young, being known as a wonder kid when he made his name as a teenager. Since then, he made his name at Roma before moving to Barcelona, before finding himself currently at Everton. I rate the player because he hasn't let his time at Barcelona affect his confidence. He's taken the opportunity to prove himself and show the footballing world what he's about, and because of that, he's put in some excellent top-class performances in the Premier League. Well, why is Luca Dna so complete? That comes down to his amazing left foot he has, the amount of key passes he's constantly playing, key crosses. He's an offensive threat in the final third, and he has superior passing technique, which allows him to find players in positions that other fullbacks wouldn't be able to find. But what makes him so impressive is his ability to mix amazing attacking displays with strong defensive performances. Luca Dna would definitely be an upgrade in this team. And when it comes to cost, how much is the player gonna cost? He might be a bit similar to Ben, but if you're asking me who the better player is, I'd have to go for Luca Dna, and I think he'd be worth the money. That's if you want to spend big like that in the first place. Now we move on to the third alternative, and his name is Grimaldo from Benfica. Now Grimaldo has always had a big rep in Europe for a long time. Unfortunately, he's also been quite injury prone, so that could potentially be a risk if you're looking to sign the player. On his best form, he is a top attacking fullback, regularly beating his man and providing quality service in the final third. With consistently good performances this season, could Grimaldo be the left back to sign over Ben? Now with Grimaldo, you are signing someone that has been likened to Jordi Alba. He really is an assist maker. Last season, for example, he directly contributed to 5 assists for Benfica striker, recording 11 assists in total. This season he's already got 6 assists and is putting in even better performances than last season. Now what makes Grimaldo such a technically accomplished fullback? He has that ability to make that Marcos Alonso infield run, but with him he has that bonus of having the pace and superior technical ability. He shows this ability in field and out wides, but on top of that, you guys, it's how the player uses his speed. He's constantly isolating the winger to go 1v1 against his man, and that's something I've noticed Alonso and Emerson, well, post-injury Emerson, struggling a tiny bit to do. With reports that Barcelona do have a 15% sell-on clause on the player, and he has signed a new contract with a buyout clause of 60 million euros, well, technically, the player still costs less than Ben, and with wages between 17.5 to 32k per week, over the course of his contract length, he's going to be so much cheaper compared to Ben. Now we move on to the fourth alternative, and his name is Philipp Max from Augsburg. Now, since Max has replaced Babarakman, it's been safe to say that he has been a full upgrade on the player, and now he's starting to become known as a bit of an assist king in the Bundesliga. This season already he has 4 assists and 6 goals, and his offensive outlet is an amazing attacking quality for his team. Now the reason for this is because Max does have a top quality, amazing left foot. He's averaging about 2 key passes from his position, and in that sense his left foot has been likened to a famous Serbian by the name of Kolarov, who has one of the best left foots of the generation. And due to this, it means that Max can find his man inside the box from any area out wide. What makes the player even more interesting is the fact that he does play in a 4-2-3-1. We know that Lampard would like to use that system a bit more, but he needs quality service and attacking support in those wide areas. And with Philipp Max, a player that strives in a formation and system like this, he could be a viable alternative to Ben. Question marks do remain on the player's defensive abilities, with the player himself knowing that this is an area of his game that he really needs to improve upon. But if Max was to play in a better team with better players and better players defensively off the ball, could we minimize this weakness? At 26 years old, Max is ready for the next stage of his career, and if anything, he would provide top quality competition for Emerson. Now we move on to a player that I've spoken about before, and his name goes by Alex Telles from FC Porto. One of Europe's best creative fullbacks and a dead ball specialist. We've seen how effective crossing is in the modern game, with Liverpool being a prime example of how to use them at the very best. Telles could provide that quality support out wide down the left. He's a player that doesn't have to get to the byline due to how good his crossing is. So tactically, he could sit a bit deeper, allowing a restart on the opposite side to really push up in the final third, and this could have a great tactical benefit for the team. With a good supply of delivery from either wing, our invention in attacks would become even better, and because of that, I think Tammy could find even more goal-scoring opportunities. Telles is a good height, he's in his prime, and he's available for a good price between 30 to 40 million. He's excelled for the past 3 seasons in Portugal. A new level is needed, and with how we play, Telles could really be a thing of beauty. Now we move on to the 2 final players to complete this list, and we move on to Marcos Hakuna from Sporting Lisbon. Now the prime thing that you get with Hakuna is versatility down that left hand side. He can play left back, left wing back, left mid, left wing, and further up the field as well. And in that sense, he reminds me of a similar player that used to do the same thing for us back in the day. the Russian player Yuri Zhirkov, who I thought was really underrated, as we really had a lot of use for his versatility throughout that season. Hakuna is of a similar mold, but what he does have is that aggressiveness, that tenacity, and mentality-wise, he definitely has the mentality to play for a club like us. Is he any good on the ball though? Well, if you know Hakuna, then you know that Hakuna and quality are both synonymous. He has a host of clubs from Italy, from clubs like Inter Milan and Juventus interested in the player, and you can see why. A great set piece taker, very tough, determined, versatile, great delivery, skillful, and he can beat his man. With reports that he's fallen out with the Lisbon management and Serie A clubs hovering around the player, could Marcus Hakuna be a viable alternative to sign now? And to end things, you guys, we move on to the final alternative, and that's none other than Tagliafico from Ajax. For me, one of the most underrated fullbacks in Europe. You feel like it's time that the player did go on to the next level. I get a strong Maxwell vibe from him. If you guys remember Maxwell, the guy that played for Paris Saint-Germain, Barcelona and Ajax, and that's because of their height. Because even though Tagliafico is small, he is very fast, very aggressive, and he's a type of fullback that gets in strong and fast against his marker, and it really complements his small height due to that low center of gravity. His passing ability and link up is one of the most impressive things about his game, and he could provide a useful outlet to Hudson-Odoi or Christian Pulisic. We've seen that without Reece, our fullbacks can be a bit susceptible to breaking the play down, so this is definitely an area that Tagliafico could improve. Now 1v1, due to that low center of gravity I was talking about, he's a specialist at defending, and he was the best left back in the group stage in Europe. There's no debates about that. His game complements how we play, he has the right mentality and technical attributes. Tagliafico completes the 7 alternatives to Ben Chilwell. So on that note, you guys, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. In the comment section below, I definitely want to read your thoughts and opinions. I know that quite a few of you guys are a bit skeptical in regards to interest in Ben, because a lot of you feel a bit similar to me that even though he's a good player with a lot of good potential, he isn't of that level just yet. But anyway, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching, you guys. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm EFC. This is Blue Line CV. See you guys in a bit.